take that into consideration in making sure they're taking care of their boathouses and their islands. Speaking of islands, if you look to the left-hand side, I'm going to talk about the first island in the tour. This is Cherry Island, and this section right here was purchased for $100 by Nathaniel Strauss and Abraham Abrams. Now, they purchased this section, and they built identical cottages because they were business partners as well as best friends. So, Lindsay and Valora stood here at one point. But they were built so close together, they deemed a fire hazard if one was torn down. But Strauss and Abrams together started the A&S department store, and folks today we know them as Macy's. So next is Casablanca right here, translated from Spanish to English to White House. And they put this large tent setup as they had a wedding there right there. So this one was a lot smaller. It was called Melrose Lodge. It was owned by Miss Sarah Marsh. Selling it to the highest bidder, that would have been Lady Marsh. They was working on furniture and tobacco as a plantation owner. Today the Amsterdam family own it, and they can rent it out. So along the seawall there are some hidden doorways, some windows, and some statues, like a lion, gargoyle, and Marsh. So these were put in by Miss Marsh, trying to scare away the evil spirits that were coming in from Canada. Not like ghost goblins and ghouls, but alcohol spirits during this time when they were going through prohibition, making alcohol illegal. The eyes and mouth were painted red, as you can see that. Lanterns were hung in there, and when the rum runners saw the red light across the water, well, they knew it was okay to transfer alcohol over. And they needed to look for it because they would hide out in those hidden windows down below, checking that out. A lot of this stonework done through the tour. You're going to see, well, that was done by the Italian masons, brought over by George Bolton, construction Gold Castle. And that castle construction stopped while they could go home, needing to make some money. They freelanced in this area to check out the work as well as the work they did of scenery. We're making a turn right here, and on the left-hand side, this is Windley Lodge. It was purchased by Fred and Nellie Fraser from Solvay, New York. Now they hired Gagan and Gagan from Syracuse, New York to design the home. Garland Brothers of Alexander later built the home, and this was the last home built in Millionaires Row for World War I. So now, as you make your full turn right into this section, you're looking on the right-hand side, or maybe if you're sitting on the right-hand side straight ahead of you, we're coming up on a very large rock, and this rock is known as Devil's Oven. With a little story, as it was a hiding place for pirate Bill Johnson and his daughter Kate. Now, he was part of an infamous rebellion responsible for sinking the British ship, the Sir Robert Peel, and he wound up hiding out in this cave for a couple of days with his daughter Kate. Now, he sent her into town to grab some supplies for the day, but as she was coming back through, she was spotted by the authorities and they arrested the two of them. Now, let's take a look at this rock for a quick second. There's a section missing right here. It just fell off yesterday. They've been tours out here for about 5 seasons. And so you can see the light shade as it just fell off there. So that's something you don't see every day. But a huge giant piece of that is now at the bottom of the river. So the authorities arrested the two. Johnson should be returned to prison. Then he got a presidential pardon made to him at Rock Island Lighthouse. We continued down to go underneath the bridge to that area. You get a chance to see that, but our boat's not going to go that far today. And he managed about the age of 82 when he passed away. So we have some above water shoals here, and there's some cormorants that are sitting on there. And next is Wauwinet, Island Wauwinet Inn. Just like any motel, hotel, a holiday inn on the mainland, but this one is only accessible by boat. And then we have the famous Thomas H. Wheeler home, who's an associate of John D. Rockefeller, Secretary of State of the Boy. Now, if you were to come out in this area, born in 1950s, 1960s, this was a popular island to be at. Other restaurants once stood here. It did catch on fire. They built up on the original stone foundation you see. Now, looking on the left-hand side, this tree-wooded area is Key Wade State Park. Their headquarters to the 26th State Park. Known for their popular boat marina, about a 5 to 7 year wait on it, as folks rent it out all season long. They also have a campground. If you're bringing a boat with you, just call ahead and let them know to see if they have a slip available for you. Now, after camping at the campground, you can make your way walking around to the edge here and enjoy the view. They do have an Olympic-sized swimming pool, a little slide for the kids, and a playground and a pavilion. You guys gonna jump in? They may jump. If you jump, we'll honk. I don't know. It's tempting. Oh, now you gotta do it. We honk. All right, got one. She says, I'm not sure. All right, we'll see. She's waving. I'm looking. And is she going? I don't blame you. Peer pressure's not that great. All right, on your right-hand side, this is Comfort Island. Over the front is Comfort Lodge. Before I describe this for you, look at the brown bears down at the bottom. That's called the baby bears. They're just waving to you. And all the way at the top, there's a large brown bear. And that's a weatherman that's holding up his son over 6 feet tall. Mr. Wilcox designed him. These are the only brown bears you're going to see in our region. Now, this is Comfort Island, and the whole of the front of it is Comfort Lodge, purchased by Allison Park as a comfort tool for his family after his daughter died of diphtheria at the age of 11. Stayed with him for about 5 generations before it was sold. And I like that you're holding on to the hatch, so I was going to mention that next. Depending on the direction we turn in and out of, if the wind picks up, anything loose you brought on board, you want to bring it home with you, just make sure you keep an extra hand on it. So there's another home at this island right here at the end, and this is the mountain, which was once owned by a very superstitious Swedish doctor for James Oliphant. He was so superstitious, he had the corners of the living room rounded out so the devil couldn't catch him in one. But he was murdered over misguided stock investments. Still looking on the right-hand side, you can see in the front there is a red marker on your right-hand side. We follow the 3 R's out here, and that is red returning. So if there's a marker on your right-hand side, it means you're returning for speed. St. Lawrence River, one few rivers flowing in northeast direction. A couple other I know of are the Amazon and the Nile. Now straight ahead of us and soon to be on the left-hand side is an artificial island called Longview, owned by Hudson Heroes, with a very peculiar wife. Well, she wanted an island out here to build a home up on, but couldn't find one to her liking, so he built this for her, brought her out to present it to her. She looked at him, she looked at the island and the home and said, I don't really like this island, I don't really like this home, I don't really like you. She left all 3. He got a beautiful island, a beautiful home, and he got rid of that very picky wife. Ladies, I'm still trying to find out what his number is. Looking on the left-hand side out in the distance, so that is the first of the 5 spans of the 1,000-ounce bridge system. Your all-American largest, tallest span. For the roadbed to the water is 150 feet, while each tower rises 200 feet in the air. Distance between the 2 towers is 800 feet. If you want to take that drive from that first span all the way to the 5th span on Canadian Highway 401, it's 8.5 miles. Now, this American span does start up at Collins Landing and Alexander Van Highway 81. So, this is the largest and tallest of the spans you're going to see, so the naval ships are able to go underneath it, and any large freighters as well can fit perfectly underneath there with no problem. So, Wellesley Island is located on my left-hand side, and George Bull had a farm over here, wanting easier access to that when they're thinking about building this bridge system, because he was tired of using that ferry going back and forth. So, the bridge system was built and completed in 1938. Well, then it was called the Bridge to Nowhere. And folks thought it was a stupid idea. There's no major highways on either side. But thankfully, the Bridge Authority, the South Lawn Bridge here, 2 million cars go over this bridge each year. Trade gets transported over. Those islands, one of the few islands having a rough residence yet, so buses from the local schools can get bussed over as well. So this is the largest U.S. island, second overall, 8 miles long and 3 miles wide at its widest point. Now you can walk the bridge if you park over at the information center as well. You can tour the winery as well, or you can drive over the bridge, check out a nature center at State Park. They have a golf course over here, do some river yoga on the weekends and early morning. So past the bridge that we was in an area I'm talking about, and in front of us up to Deer Island is a section of the river known as the American Narrow. Now you're going to the dangerous section right through here. And if you look on the right-hand side, there's an island called Jewel Island. Once had a beautiful 27-stone room mansion on there called Stony Crest. But that mansion and a third of the island was blasted away and torn down, so 2 large freighters needed to transport in an emergency through this section and could only an emergency though. And I've only ever seen a couple boats dock there at a tent ended on Pullman Island. So if you're looking on any of these channel markers coming up through the main shipping channel, and you get to see a nest, they're the osprey nest, and they're cousin to the bald eagle. If you have a seaplane coming over us on the left-hand side, as well as Border Patrol rests on Wellesley Island. Next is going to be the Coast Guard Station Regional Headquarters. Uncle Sam says drills with them, and so does the local fire department with their ice water training, so for the most part the river does freeze over. That means it shuts down at the end of December, and then a giant icebreaker breaks through in the about March 23rd, opening up the shipping channel. So folks, we are going over a shipwreck right now, and that was a Canadian steamship called the Boy-A Joggery, a 640-foot steamship, which was carrying iron ore coming down the river. They're going in the opposite direction we're going now when it struck the shoal up there, and that is Pullman Shoal. And that happened, a giant gash was left inside of the ship. Crews started taking in too much water. They tried to do everything they could to try to salvage it. When they realized they couldn't and they needed to get off the ship, they evacuated and they climbed up on that Coast Guard dock to watch the ship sink in a record time. While the lights were still on, as it went down, it split in half. It lies below about 150 feet in depth and can never be fully recovered. Now, it is also a master 5-star dive. The ship's temperature is rather strong because some divers, even the very next day, went down to explore it. Not familiar with all of that. One gentleman, a safety line snapped, and the body was never recovered. There is a dive shop on Route 12. If you're interested in any diving, you can stop there and talk to Captain Bob or Captain Andrew. They'll help you out. On your left-hand side is Hopewell Hall, and this rests on Wellesley Island. It's got amazing, beautiful stonework here. This was originally owned by William Browning, manufactured uniforms for the Union Army during the Civil War, and later purchased as a wedding present for his daughter Clover. Passed down to her daughter. I'm not sure what your wedding present looks like. If anyone's familiar with the name, over here the island is purchased by the grandson of E.J. Noble. Mr. E.J. Noble invented the lifesaver candy. Purchased that in 2017. So next is Pullman Island, once owned by George Pullman. The castle on the island at one point, Council Rest, although torn down over taxes, he was the town. He also was the inventor of the sleeper-style rail cars. You see some folks back there, as you can rent this island out as an Airbnb. Now, when he was friends with President Ulysses S. Grant one summer, he invited him up here to hang out on the island, but they had to tent out because there was no structures built on it. Now, the island is next to these 2 waving flags. It's owned by our retired doctor, Dr. Rolla, living in Casanova, New York.